హైదరాబాద్ గచ్చిబౌలిలో ఇంకెట్ వాష్ ముగింపు కార్యక్రమంలో మంత్రి KTR మాట్లాడుతున్నారు. లైవ్ చూద్దాం.
They need to be given, the platform. There's, and Red Bull ka ad aata na, if you have wings you can fly or something like that. So I think our youngsters need those wings. You need to be able to give wings to their aspirations. As long as you're able to give it to them, I think they'll conquer the world. That's the first thing I told them. The 3I mantra: first is innovation, second is infrastructure. Today, the government of Telangana is going out on a limb. We're not just happy being an ODF or ODF plus state with respect to our towns and sanitation. We are in fact going to be possibly one of the first states in the country which will have a fecal sludge treatment plant in each of its towns. It is ambitious, it is audacious, but I think we are on the right course. Along with ASCII as our knowledge partner, we have floated a tender. We've already started work in I think about 26 towns. The work is ongoing. And I do believe that we'll also complete the remaining 125 odd other towns, and we'll possibly be the first state in the country to have accomplished this rare feat of being ODF plus with respect to towns and fecal sludge treatment. Infrastructure, what do I mean when I say infrastructure? Infrastructure with respect to water, with respect to hygiene, with respect to everything. We cannot afford not to have infrastructure as an emerging nation, as a developing country. And the last thing on the 3I mantra that I mentioned to Honorable Prime Minister: innovation, infrastructure, and most important is inclusive growth. We cannot afford as a country to not include our women. We cannot afford as a country to let the rural-urban divide us. We cannot afford in our country to let our social classes or our caste system or our religion divide us when it comes to the growth in this country or the aspirations of this nation. So therefore, unless we focus on all these three, and unless we use some really innovative Jugaad model, and who knows Jugaad better than Gujaratis, right? So therefore, with two Gujarati leaders running our country, I do hope very strongly. Abhishek, are you Gujarati? Okay, you are laughing way too hard, so with our Prime Minister himself leading from the front, I do believe that India is actually headed in the right direction, and I do feel very, very strongly, and I do feel a great deal of optimism. One of the things we did in terms of Jugaad, when we laid this 130,000 kilometers of water pipeline as part of our drinking water project, we also have combined in the same trench fiber optic cable. So नल के साथ ही साथ आपको घर पे एक अच्छा broadband connection भी मिल जाएगा. We're in the final leg of finishing the D-fiber project, as we call it, and once that is done, you can imagine the possibilities and what can be accomplished with good high-speed broadband even at the doorstep of a rural household. E-commerce, e-health, education, and a latitude of other things that can happen by way of this connection that will be up and running within the next 1 year. So these are the sort of Jugaad models, these are the sort of innovations I'm talking from a government side that we can do, which will also infuse more capital, which will infuse more enthusiasm among rural youngsters as well to innovate. We also have done some things in terms of legislation, because government is not always about spending money or sanctioning a lot of crores and crores of rupees. We came out with what we call the Telangana Municipal Act, as part of which we have done some truly remarkable, we've incorporated some truly remarkable things. We came out with a system of self-certification. If you have a piece of land that is less than 75 square yards, you do not have to go to your municipality at all. You can self-certify yourselves as being in compliance with the law of the land and construct as per the building norms. You do not need any sort of attestation. You do not need any sort of rubber stamp from the local municipality or the government. I don't think any other state in India will tell you this. Secondly, if you're above 75 square yards and whatever your plot size is, you can submit an application online, or you can even submit it offline. We accept it, and we promise all building permissions in 21 days. If we do not deliver on the 21-day window, we call this TSBPAS, Telangana State Building Permission Approval Self-Certification System. Now, if you do not clear your application in 21 days, on the 22nd day, it's a deemed approval. It's an approval by default. We have tried to take out graft and individual discretion from the system. We are going to launch this very soon, and I do hope and believe that this again will become a role model for the rest of the country. not just these two principles, even with respect to sanitation plan and waste management, I'm happy to announce the detailed project reports are underway with respect to solid waste management in about 78 ULBs, and the National Institute of Urban Management is entrusted with the task of preparing a detailed project report for the remaining 52 urban local bodies as well. As I mentioned, we've been